Justice Lateef Fagbemi talked about the bar as well, talking about senior advocates of Nigerians abusing their privileges without doing what they are supposed to do just because they are senior lawyers. I will have 2 minutes of your contribution. Let me start with Barrister Chetam so that we end with with Barrister Lateef. This is your president of the association, very categorical and saying it's like it's a mess right now. It's for the highest bidders, cash and carry, both the bar and the bench. Barrister Chetam.
But you know, this is not the first time I have always continue to shout about the corruption within our judicial system now. I have always talked about it, even on your studio. Severally, I've talked about how bad the judiciary has gotten. That even myself as a lawyer, sometimes it is difficult to even come out to identify with the judiciary in this regard. It is a sad situation, and it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a big mess and a slap to our nation. Let me say this. It is becoming so glaring that now if the bar president can come out, which I commend him. I commend him greatly. I commend Mazi Osigwe greatly for coming up clearly to state this as it is. I know a lot of persons would not be happy with him and would have cautioned him to say, you don't have to say these things and all that. But this is our reality. They have made a mess of our judiciary, where the minister of the FCT will be building houses for judges. And we are quiet about it. A man who has series of litigations or litigation and interest within the judiciary will be building houses for judges and justices of superior courts. And we are quiet and we are like, it is a normal, there is nothing normal about it. It is not the duty of the FCT minister or the FCT administration to actually build houses for judges. Why are we allowing this type of things happen? You see, when we continue to allow this impunity, these things have a way of trying to actually affect judgments of court. We saw the president of the Federal High Court, who actually visited the FCT minister. We saw the statement made by him. This called for concerns. It called for serious concerns. These things should not be seen in the open happening. These things are avoidable. But no, we are in a country where these things happen and we get away with things. Nigeria is right now a mess, a complete mess. And I align myself completely with the bar president. That right now, justice is like cash and carry. Which judge you know? Which judge can do justice? Based on the evidence presented by counsels in the matter. So when people lose matters, it's not because they do not know the law. It is because somebody somewhere has done something. And this has made the public lose confidence in our judiciary.
Barrister Chetam, sorry, because of time, let me go to Barrister, Dr. Lateef, yeah, he's a barrister as well. This is the position right now in Nigeria. The bar president said it's cash and carry. And, the SAN, the learned Lateef Fagbemi, talked about the bench, the bar as well, and say, some of you that are senior advocates of Nigeria, you are not doing it rightly. You are just going about, abusing the privileges that comes with the position of the SAN. Your take on that matter?
You see, you cannot take the Nigerian bar or even the judiciary out of the entire, systemic and corrupt system in Nigeria. And this is what people mean when they say corruption is endemic. So to that extent, of course, it is not possible to fault what Mr. Mazi Osigwe, the president of the bar, said. This is something we have all grown into the practice to understand, the corruption in the judiciary. But you see, the thing here is that, yes, we are very good at making speeches, beautiful speeches and all of that. But there's always the disconnect between beautiful speeches and what people do in fact. So when you say corruption, for me, it is not really fair to restrict this to judges. It is endemic, as I said earlier. Even the bar, Mr. Osigwe himself, I'm happy that my learned brother talked about the NBA election earlier. The election that produced him, was a subject of controversy, the e-voting thing. And I will say, in fairness to him, that is not restricted to him. Even the one that preceded him, the NBA election, the e-voting has always been characterized. In Rivers State, my brother mentioned Rivers State. The NBA went to Rivers State to collect 300 million without telling all of us. So for me, when people make beautiful speeches, sometimes, you like the beautiful speeches, you really want to follow them. But when you then compare the beautiful speeches with what they themselves do, or what is happening around them, then you begin to question, I would say, the credibility of what they are saying. So what we can do at best at this stage is to continue to agitate for a very, I would say, decent and incorruptible judicial system. There are judges that are very bad, quite many of them, and there are also quite a number of them who are very, I would say, upright. There are many lawyers who are very, very corrupt, and of course, there are also many lawyers who are very, very upright. So the best we can do, as I said earlier, is that, yes, we can continue to talk about these things, but when we talk about them, let what we do also reflect what we talk about. Not that we'll be saying something, and then in our own inner closet, we can also find that some things are not exactly clear. So yes, the challenges are there, but then, it is what it is. We can only hope that with time, this corruption perception, real and, perceive or whatever, they will go away. But they can't go away unless we kill the corruption in the entire system itself. The Nigerian ecosystem. The law is not, or the judiciary is not independent of that system. It is a systemic problem.
All right, Doctor, from what you said, I seem to have picked out your take, your conclusion on that matter. Now, I'd like to ask you, Barrister Chatam, well, the law, the bar now is talking about the integrity of the bar, the independence of the bar, the judiciary, and then linking it now with the judiciary being the last hope of the common man now. That's the court, talking about that. And then linking it with the voting, the electoral system that we're talking about. You know that most of our ballots, in most of our elections, always end up at the court. So what is your take on the seeming lack of independence of the judiciary now, the lack of integrity, and the loss of faith in the judiciary?
These are the reasons why we keep agitating for judicial reforms, and we will not stop agitating for it, because at some point, the people have to trust the judiciary. But this judiciary, can it be trusted? From where I sit, this judiciary cannot be trusted. Because the truth of the matter is that because the judiciary has posed itself not to be an institution that the people should 100% rely on. And that's why we are saying that, the bad eggs within the system. Can we purge out these bad eggs? Can we take practical steps? Just like Dr. Lateef has said, can we take practical steps in dealing with these issues? There are issues we have identified that, yes, these things are happening within the system. But what exactly are we doing to addressing these things? What exactly are we doing to making sure that these things are taken off the hook? Because we can't continue to have a system like this. We can't continue in a system like this. And we now expect that miracles should happen. Miracle cannot happen. We must take practical steps to address some of these challenges. The challenges are before us. We are seeing these things happen every day. So if the smaller matters that could be dealt with that these judges can deal with properly and judiciously, and not dealt with properly and judiciously, is it the bigger issues that has to do with our elections that we will not see these things happen, compromises here and there? We'll continue to see these compromises. And that's why we say there is a need for a total overhaul of our judicial system. Because as at today, the judiciary cannot be said to be the last hope of the common man, because they don't carry themselves as the last hope of the common man any longer. That used to be a phrase some of us used to believe in right now. But right now, the judiciary has been completely infiltrated by politicians. And because politicians have been infiltrated into our judiciary, we see a lot of things going on wrong. And let me say this, lawyers themselves also contribute to the corruption in the judicial system, because they are the ones who negotiate with some of these judges who are corrupt. They contribute majorly to it. So what is the confidence we have that if I'm being linked in the elections, that I can go to the courts and actually get judgment? I don't have that confidence. I don't have the confidence, because even in the smaller issues, the judiciary has not been able to distinguish itself on issues.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister Chatam Wala. He's a lawyer and a rights activist there, and Barrister Dr. Lateef. Alamu Lateef. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your takes.
Thank you and good morning. Thank you too.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so dear viewer, that's the much we can take on the show this morning. We've had a lot of conversation right there. We hope that you can have your take, your pick from all of these things that have been said. My name is Temitope Ajijola Oluwaola. We'll make a return tomorrow.
Yeah, once more we thank, appreciate our guest, my learned colleagues in view, actually. Femi Ojo is my name. Shout out to the production team. You can have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television and NJ. Yeah, Western Spring Television NJ. And on Facebook at Western Spring Television. Whatever you do, stay in the right side of the law and please be alive. See you tomorrow.